Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrek. Big shout out to all the iTrek fan, man, that is just currently tapped in at this very moment. Appreciate you guys, man. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos from all around the internet. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, join the iTrek fan, man. The most interesting and wildest content might just be found here, man. So let's go ahead and jump right into it.
And here's the funny thing that happens. Atheists are like, there's not enough evidence for me to believe in God. And then the evidence comes out scientifically and they're like, see, now we don't need God because it's explained. It's like, so you just want to sin. Like, no, either way, you're just going to have your sin. You're like, it doesn't matter. You're not looking for actual information. You're trying to use information however you need to protect your sin life.
I just took some time and watched that Gucci Mane and Keisha K.O. interview when they was on the Breakfast Club. And let me say this, Gucci Mane is gone. People used to joke about Gucci being a clone. Shit was funny. Went to jail, Gucci came back. Gucci ain't Gucci. No, Gucci ain't Gucci right now. I'm looking at the interview and he's reminding me of Wendy Williams, Britney Spears type shit. And his wife is definitely his handler. You gotta listen to wordplay. She said, I control his social media. I control the money. I control everything.
I have a system. Personally, I take his apps off his phone. First thing I do, I delete Instagram. I delete everything. Even if I got to change his password, I'm changing it. You realize you'd never know about any other episodes since September 13th because I control that. Because you're not going on Instagram. You're not going on Twitter. It's deleted. You know, and I just control everything at home. And now, before the episodes come, I catch it.
A strong woman will definitely have an effect on a man changing. But Gucci, he not even speaking like Gucci. She talking over him. Gucci not even speaking for herself. Gucci is a wild boy. When y'all know Gucci to be like that, and it don't matter. Yo, this is what, it don't matter. I seen somebody say that Keisha K.O. put a love spell on Gucci. She did something to Gucci. I don't give a what nobody say. Gucci is being controlled right now. Look at when they was talking about the episode that happened on September 13th. We all know. Gucci said he don't even remember what happened. This woman says she can snap her fingers and Gucci would come back to normal. What type of shit is that? Or you heard the situation when she said Gucci would be quiet and she'd ask him, why you not talking? He'd tell you, because I ain't got nothing to talk about. And she'd say, that's not how you talk to your wife. I know something is wrong now. What kind of shit is that? This lady said she called his attorneys, called bodyguards, and she planned a kidnap. What type of shit is that? But see, the shit gonna come out because, like I said in the beginning, Gucci is about to be the next Wendy Williams. Gucci is about to be the next Britney Spears. You heard it here first. I'm telling you, because this man is not the same person that he was. Mark my word.
Gucci is a hip-hop staple, so to see him go through these changes in life and end up where he's at, it's actually not that surprising. Like, he was very open about, a lot of his drug use in the beginning of his career, and sometimes when you go through that many changes, that drastically, you end up in these situations. So maybe it is a good thing that somebody cares about him, that keeps him from crashing out.
Wow, okay, are you ready for this? So we're days away from a once-in-a-lifetime moment. 3i Atlas is about to graze the sun, and it's getting more and more interesting, frankly, strange by the day. Let's go through what's verified, what's speculation, and why everyone is watching 3i Atlas so closely right now. So as of October 23rd, 3i Atlas is about 360 million kilometers from Earth. It's currently passing through Virgo, and it's headed for its closest point to the sun around October 29th. It will be just inside of Mars's orbit. ESA's ExoMars and Mars Express, these orbiters have captured the object earlier this month. It was a faint white blur surrounded by a glowing coma. Telescopes like Gemini South have confirmed it's slowly forming a tail, but it's still super faint because it's so far. The Swift Observatory measured it shedding water like a cosmic fire hose. Now, normally we'd expect regular updates from NASA, but the timing is very odd. So while ESA and independent astronomers have been posting, NASA's stayed mostly quiet, which obviously sparks speculation. But the internet has been busy. Let's start with the creator that goes by Dobsonian Power. So he's been tracking and covering 3i Atlas and has just captured it through a solar telescope. Now, after the images were enhanced, the supposed streak of light, it resolved into something really weird and perfectly round. Look at this. Another strange coincidence is that because of the object's current position, 3i Atlas is about to be hit with a massive solar storm. Check out this clip by Stefan Burns.
Now again, today the 21st, 3i Atlas is exactly opposite the sun, right? So if we're looking at it like this, it's exactly opposite that on the other side, about 1.5 astronomical units or something. It's perihelion, it'll be at 1.36. That's the 29th of October. Then we got Halloween. Boom, the veil's thin. 3i Atlas is all charged up. We're all charged up. The world's going crazy. Like, the aliens arrive. Who knows?
Here's how I see it. The verified data shows a natural active comet, older, colder, and shedding gas and water as it heats. But the timing, the strange imagery, and the silence from key agencies is really keeping everyone's attention locked. So whether this is just another interstellar visitor or it is something truly unique, we are about to find out. So stay tuned. I'll post the next update as soon as new data or imagery comes out. It's getting interesting.
October 29th is right around the corner, so we definitely will stay tapped into that because who knows what really that is. We're all trying to figure it out.
Humiliation rituals.
100%, bro. John Cena in a dress when he's supposed to be the most jacked stud of the world. Who does that?
It is weird because I sometimes look at these people, I'm like, hang on, how did they go from like being semi-famous, being in a few films or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like they're everywhere. They're hosting these big shows, they're in all the biggest films.
So yeah, 100% there's humiliation rituals and people are willing to sell themselves for a bag. Pretty disappointing.
I don't know if you've ever seen quicksand before. Watch this. You see this? That's where you end up.
This serial killer wax museum is something straight out of nightmares. So I was recently traveling throughout Italy, and while in Florence, Italy, I came across a serial killer wax museum. The place is literally called the Florence Serial Killer Museum, and if you visit this museum, you will see wax figures of some of the most horrible people that have ever walked the face of the earth. This includes the monster of Florence, Pietro Pacciani, famous, I guess, Italian serial killers who I had never heard of, and various other serial killers from throughout Europe. They even had a wax figure of James Holmes, the Dark Knight theater shooting. This whole experience was incredibly disturbing for me. I actually visited this location as a part of a documentary that I was filming, and I can honestly say that I have never seen anything quite like this. I also learned a lot of stories while there, like the story of this woman who actually killed 3 women in Italy and turned one of them, at least one of them, into bars of soap. They had an Ed Gein exhibit. And yeah, after doing some further research, this place is incredibly controversial in Italy, and yet when I visited, it was very busy. I cannot honestly say that I've ever seen something quite like this, but this is video proof that this place does exist, and it is in Florence, Italy.
See, I told you those wax figures hit just a little bit different. And them creating a whole museum around serial killers, like, it's pretty wild.
So apparently, spiders run towards you because they think you'll protect them.
At 75, both men and women fall off a cliff.
At 75.
But the population level, it's unmistakable what happens at the age of 75. That's what we're up against. That's what I'm thinking about in the practice, is how do I create an escape velocity that gets somebody another 15 years there?
And so is your goal to minimize or essentially erase that marginal decade?
The marginal decade's not going anywhere. We will all have a final decade of life. My goal is to make the marginal decade as enjoyable as possible. The way I explain it to my patients is that last 10 to 15 of your years, if you don't do anything about it, you will fall to a level of about 50% of your total capacity, cognitively, physically.
You see, the reason why this information is good is because now we have at least a number. We know we have to kind of do everything we want to do, get all the best of our life out before at least 75. Which is quite concerning.
Rarest videos ever taken, part 1. Here's some extremely rare footage of a deep-sea serrate octopus drifting across the ocean floor like a ghost. Its body inflates and deflates like a balloon, each pulse a mix of breath and buoyancy. These fragile creatures live miles below the surface, as every confirmed sighting is considered a major scientific event. Recorded in 1899, the little girl and her cat is believed to be the world's first cat video, filmed by British pioneer Arthur Melbourne Cooper. The short clip shows a girl playing with her cat, now colorized and speed corrected. A rare glimpse into how even over a century ago, humans couldn't resist capturing the simple joy of a cat's affection. Here's a clip showing how a laser can easily destroy the camera on your phone. Those lines are irreversible as the sensor is now permanently damaged. Lahaina Noon is a rare solar event where an entire city briefly loses its shadows, making the world look like a video game before it's fully loaded. It happens twice a year in tropical regions like Hawaii when the sun passes directly overhead at a perfect 90-degree angle, so objects, trees, buildings, and people appear eerily flat as if reality itself hasn't fully rendered yet.
Scientists recently announced the discovery of this dinosaur embryo, and it's the most perfectly preserved of its kind ever found. It belonged to a theropod dinosaur from about 70 million years ago, which is the group of dinosaurs that birds evolved from. And it's in the exact same position that birds are in when they're about to hatch. So does this perfectly preserved embryo mean that we could resurrect dinosaurs? No. Don't worry about that. In order to hypothetically resurrect an extinct species, there's one important thing that you need: living DNA. And DNA can only theoretically live for about 6.8 million years. So this is about 64 million years off.
Sí, señor. Eso. No es un huevo de ñandú. Por eso se quedaron como 2 horas más, ¿no? Los engañamos cuando veníamos caminando. Nos encontramos con un nido que es increíble. Nunca vimos algo así. Nunca vimos un huevo tan bien preservado. No, esto es una locura total.
So dinosaurs ain't real, huh? So many people have that theory that it was all made up, but I don't know. Looks kind of like evidence to me. But let me know if you think it's fact or cap.
Oh, bro. It's going up in your car. Yeah. Wait, stop.
Who else remembers being taught that our blood was blue inside of our bodies? Remember that? And it only turned red when it hit the air, which is just all false. But I know I'm not the only one that was taught that growing up. Anybody else that was taught that blood was blue?
I for sure grew up in a school where they taught people that as soon as blood hit the air, it turns red, but in your veins it's blue. So what I'm trying to understand is, because he didn't really clarify, is it not blue? If you know something that I don't, drop it in the comments, man.
Right now, I'm going to debunk 3 Mandela effects for you. I've got the proof. Number 1, there's some people out there that swear that Curious George used to have a tail. This is a 1971 edition of the book Curious George Goes to the Hospital. It's a 5th printing. As you can plainly see, he never had a tail. Some special evolution for Curious George. Number 2, there are some people that contend that the Fruit of the Loom logo used to have a cornucopia in it behind the fruit, just like in this photoshopped image. Here's a 1984 magazine ad for Fun Pals, which were Fruit of the Loom's version of Underoos. And here's the logo from 40 years ago, and there isn't a cornucopia in sight. Number 3. The Berenstain Bears have been a popular book series for over 60 years. And some people insist that Berenstain used to be spelled with an S-T-E-I-N. This is a 1983 printing of the Berenstain Bears and the Wild Wild Honey. And there's a stain that you can't wipe away. Hey, I'm just here to help.
Also about CERN.
So the Large Hadron Particle Collider in Switzerland is this large circle where they're basically trying to create antimatter. They're trying to harness the God particle. There's a huge statue of Shiva the Destroyer outside of the center, and there have been some incredibly dark things witnessed at this space. There have been some people that have caught footage of them doing something that at a minimum looks like a reenactment of a human sacrifice. I don't know why you would do such a thing. Like, this all took place right in front of the Shiva the Destroyer statue. There have been many people that have come forward that basically said when this particle collider is turned on, it actually pairs the fibers of our space-time, and it's created kind of these parallel fractures in our timeline. There are also people that really believe that what they're trying to do is create a portal to unleash the demons, the spirits of the Nephilim, to basically let them come out of the gates of hell. They're using technology, something that we would perceive physically, to actually allow a portal for something multidimensional. That's all on the road to something that we won't be able to come back from if we're not careful.
Now, why you would want to release demons off into the earth? Only God knows. Really, only God knows. It makes no sense at all, but it's kind of like saying, why does a serial killer kill? There's a sickness.
What I'm about to tell you, I have never told anyone, and I don't know if I should. So I decided, after a lot of research, to remote view the Vatican. And when I did that, it got weird. Let me tell you why. So my first experience was to just go see what's inside. I heard a lot of stories about great books that they've hidden in the basement. So I'm like, yeah, let me go check that out, man. I want to see some of these old ancient texts about like UFOs and stuff like that. Well, boy, did I get my share of a surprise, because when I went down there, the first level, when you try to get in, is protected by entities. Yeah, spiritual entities. So it's like describing, if you've ever seen Cabin in the Woods, they have like a multi-level tier of different monsters that they've created. And that's exactly what it was like. Each level you tried to get past, it was a different monster, different entity. I don't know what it was, but it was like an entity. Some had wings, some had fangs, some had claws, and basically they were protecting the information that was in there, so you couldn't even read it. It was like they were just like in your face, distracting you, pushing you, trying to get you out, blocking you basically from getting the information. So it's almost a spiritual battle at this point to even get the information. They only want people that are in the know, that they can control, to have this information because it's that powerful. That's my personal opinion. You can make your own decisions, but afterwards I just stopped the remote view. I slept for like 13 hours, and yeah, and then I just felt like, you know, there was just kind of a cast being put upon me as well. So what do you think? Do you think that there's something down there they're protecting? Is it just information, or is it something more? Put your comment in the comments section. Dreamers out.
I mean, if you're using the brain, obviously they're protecting something, and only a certain few are going to be able to obtain this information and see what's going on. And that's going to be until the end of time. This will never just be public or none of that. That's facts.
Magic Johnson. Because even in your book, you talk about a famous basketball player that Sabi Hill, and he was supposed to tell everybody about him, and he never did. Mm-hmm. So do you know for certain? Did Sabi heal Magic Johnson, or did Gregory said Magic never had HIV? Mm-hmm. He said Magic was point shaving, mm-hmm. and the whole HIV thing came out for him to get out of basketball for a while. So did he actually have it, from what you know, and did Sabi help him if he did in fact have it?
According to what Doctor said, because I remember I'm traveling with this man, and that's like my bullet I had in the chamber. I gotta ask him, but I never found the right time to ask him until we was in Usha, and I was like, "Sabi, you ever met Magic Johnson? Were you the one who healed him of HIV?" And his whole face changed. I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm about to get thrown out of Usha." He didn't say nothing for about maybe 2 minutes, and when you said when you don't know what this person is thinking, 2 minutes seem like a month. So he's like, he ain't saying shit, and I'm like, I'm messed up. All right, so I started looking around, like the last time I'm gonna see this, because I knew I was getting thrown out. So then he was like, his people reached out to me. I said, oh shit, he talking. And he's telling me, and I'm like, damn, my camera was, this one of the things I regret not recording, because I didn't want to cut his. He was like, his people reached out to me. I told them he need to come to me, and he didn't want to come to me. He set up a hotel He set up a hotel and made me go to the hotel, and I talked to him. And speaking with Mama Pill's the only person who told me. Like when I was telling her, she was listening, and she was like, "That's 100% correct. Sebi trusts you that much to tell you that." He said, "I didn't think he told anybody that." He said magic people set up a hotel. Sebi went to meet him there, and they talked. He told him what he needed to do, and it took him, I think it was like 4 to 6 months for him to get that. And Magic promised him that he was going to tell the world about him. That's why Dr. Sebi called him an Oreo. He was white on the inside and just black on the outside. And he was upset because he thought that was going to be his introduction to the world.
Damn. But Magic did have that package.
According to what Dr. Sebi, and you got to think about it, they paying Magic for the HIV cocktail. He's getting millions of dollars every year just to be the brand ambassador for that.
Ooh, this some heavy shit. God damn.
Now that whole clip is very, very deep, and let me just break it down real quick. I'm a big reader. I'm big into all kinds of books that are going to give me information, right? And one book that people kind of overlook, they don't really take it literal, is the Bible, right? The Bible, it just gives a lot of game, and one of the key lines in the Bible says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." Everything can be cured. Whether you're willing to accept it, believe it or not, everything can be cured. Every single kind of cancer, every illness, everything. People are not aware, or they don't search for that knowledge, so they just die off, right? They just die off, they perish. So, that's a real thing. I definitely believe that story because Magic is thriving, and he's been thriving, and people kind of, as we watch others that didn't have that information perish from that disease, nah, look around. It's definitely curable, and if you have the means, you'll be cured, and if you don't have the means or the information, now you're lost in the sauce. And you have to understand, we're not talking about religion and we're not talking about politics. We're talking about information inside these books. And a lot of this information you need is inside of these books, all kinds of books, the Bible, the dictionary, go do your homework.
So, this is Dorothy, our facial scanning rig.
This vault is one of Hollywood's best-kept secrets. It's not safeguarding money or jewels, but something far more valuable. Digital clones of your favorite actors and entertainers.
3, 2, 1.
This is how the entertainment capital is fighting to preserve, protect, and future-proof in the age of artificial intelligence.
So scrunch your face, yeah.
This endeavor made by the Creative Arts Agency. It's one of the largest and most powerful talent agencies in the country, representing thousands of A-listers in entertainment and sports. Every movement,
anger, like rage. So
3, 2,
and every vocal inflection,
that quick beige fox jumped in the air over each thin dog. Look out, I shout.
Used to create and safely store a digital double the talent owns.
Think of it like a bank. If somebody now owns their digital likeness assets, anyone who chooses to do anything other than work with that individual, now there's a stronger case to show that they're infringing on their rights.
CAA wouldn't say which of its many stars have undergone this 3-hour-long procedure, but claims since the CAA Vault launched in 2023, it's been very popular.
Now somebody can show up in a Call of Duty game or in Fortnite or in any of these sort of platforms.
But hiring the AI replica won't come at a discount. CAA argues the value is in the person.
Tell me about your own love for film and entertainment and where that came from.
Oh my gosh, I grew up watching movies with my mom, old school, Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, all the old school movies, and really having a fascination with how they were made.
Tucked away in the beachy Venice neighborhood sits Deep Voodoo, an AI company co-created by South Park's Trey Parker and Matt Stone in 2020, when the pair sought to create a deepfake spoof of President Trump.
Hi, kids. I'm
Donald Trump, your president.
They had developed this technology along with an incredible team of people and felt like it was too special not to share.
We did an Apple TV show called Before.
They quickly realized the potential beyond satire, building their own facial scanner for actors. And with that data, they show me how AI can in real time de-age Billy Crystal and Judith Light.
The Habsburg line was so inbred that Charles II could barely eat, speak, or take care of himself. The family married themselves to keep the pure royal blood, but it ended causing lots of issues for the next generations, especially Charles, the last Habsburg. His parents were uncle and niece, his mother was his cousin, and his father was his granduncle. His grandparents from both sides were cousins too. From most sides of the family it was inbred, in the end coming from the same ascendants. Charles was so weak he could barely do anything. He didn't have basic hygiene. He couldn't eat at all, or speak clearly. He wasn't able to be king. He couldn't conceive a child even after years. Somehow he managed to live for 39 years. When he finally died, the doctor who made his autopsy said he did not have blood. His heart was the size of a peppercorn. His lungs were corroded. His intestines rotten. He had a single testicle black as coal, and his head was full of water. It's not sure if it was true, but taking his medical history, anything can be expected.
You know, that's just the saddest thing to me, because children don't ask to be here. So when you are dealing with like inbred situations, these people are really ruining the life of the child that they're bringing into the earth. And it's proven time and time again, and there are countries on this earth that are still in that situation. It's crazy.
So Candace Owens came out and said she thinks these individuals are hybrids, meaning not human. Very interesting take.
I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know? Like, my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human, but I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, you know? I'm not going to stab them. But I don't know if they bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out. You know what I mean? And I just get that sense. I've always known it was demonic. And people just get on board because, as we talked about in this book, they are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards. And the main component of all of this is psychology. Right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber. We've become fatter. We've become less healthy. We've become less emotionally sound. And yet they are convincing us that this is like humanity's great leap forward. We put a man on the moon, and he just like called him up and was like, "Hey, Prez, what's up? I'm up here. Yeah, it's so cool. It's really great. It's nice. Starry night up here." Cam and a texture guy go by in 69, and they get these people. They tell you like he's a genius. They're all writing like he's a genius, so we should just accept that Elon Musk is a genius because like all the writers who are obviously indoctrinated into the occult are telling us that this is the next person that we should worship. The establishment of Hollywood, it was all cults. They were all Aleister Crowley proteges who were just raised in summoning demons, and demons are real. So at the same time that they're summoning demons, they are making us all believe that faith is not real. And that has been, I think, the greatest trick.
So I said it before, I'll say it again. Either Candace is on to something, or she's losing her mind. That's it. It's one of the two. That's it. And I pray, for the sake of her, she's on to something. Only time will tell. May the Lord reveal more light. Amen?
Man, if you don't know that there's hybrids on this earth, man, you are asleep. But in that same breath, I'll tell you that there's a little bit of everything on this earth. There's a little bit of everything. And we'll leave it at that, you know?
The Alex, the African gray parrot?
No.
Oh, you've got to look into this. I mean, maybe you could even get one of his trainers on the show. So Alex, the African gray parrots are probably the smartest bird. Definitely one of the smartest animals.
Right up there with crows or ravens?
Smarter. They're very, very smart. They can talk. They can reason. Alex the parrot was a uniquely smart African gray parrot. But By the way, African greys are usually not kept in captivity just because they're such a handful. There we go. There's Alex.
They're a handful because they're so intelligent?
It's like dogs that need to be exercised.
Oh,
they
like
need to be
a German
intellectually
Shepherd.
stimulated.
Oh.
And most people just don't have the time to keep an African gray properly stimulated. So they start, they get depressed, they self-harm. So they're not recommended as a beginner parrot by any means. Now, Alex was interesting because he had a vocabulary, he understood grammar, and he is one of the only animal who asked an existential question, and he actually did it right before he died. If I remember correctly, like he wasn't just saying, give me food. He could say like, tomorrow I want this food. He could be, but the existential question he asked was, what's happening and where am I going? Which is, and he had never asked those questions before. They were brand new, formulated questions that he asked very shortly before he passed. And so there's a lot of, now here's the other cool part. He's got a bird brain. He has a tiny little brain, and yet it has all that capacity. You've probably heard of people who have lost huge chunks of their brain and they reprogram and they seem to get by. Mm-hmm. Parrots like Alex suggest that you can get by with very little brain if it's oriented correctly. So imagine if I took a species like an African gray and I modified certain elements of its genetic code to cause its brain to be somewhat larger, somewhat more glucose consuming, so it has more energy, and then also to have more folds. They're very smooth brained. What if I could have, we know that folded brain tissue and the high density that it creates on the neuronal surface is very good for intelligence. Like, could you make an African gray that is able to have a normal human level conversation? I think it's actually very close to that.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a saltwater fish tank type of guy, but I would actually consider grabbing one of those parrots. I could see myself actually taking time to have those kind of conversations. That's kind of cool, man. Let me know. Would you grab one?
That would get better. It got worse. And I'm sinking like I'm in an elevator. And I'm like, why am I going down? I want to go to heaven. And I'm sinking. And it felt like, when you ride a roller coaster, it goes down, but I never went back up. It felt like an elevator was dropping. I don't know how much time it was in the natural world, but I go boom, 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 down, and bam, I land. And I look around, Lila, and I'm in a place I did not expect to be, which the Bible calls hell. By the way, you got to understand, I never learned about hell in Buddhism. There's no concept of original sin in the Bible. So when I land there, I was shocked because I look around, I'm not alone. There's sea of people in front of me, to my left, to my right, and there was no light. It was the darkest place ever. There's no plants. I looked for like flowers. Is there like shrubs? There's no shrubs. It was all like rocky ground, purplish, reddish, rocky ground. For me, hell was a very visual experience. I looked to the left and there's cliffs and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I supernaturally, check this out. This is where it gets really, I feel like this is where God started speaking to me. I just supernaturally knew I was a sinner or like not a good person for the first time in my life. I've never thought that I was a Buddhist living on earth because I never killed anyone, right? I cheated on a test, but like who doesn't, right? I remember stealing a chocolate bar once when I was 7 years old. It was only like a quarter. I was like, God will forgive me, right? Buddha will forgive me. But there, I knew I was a sinner that deserved to be there. For the first time in my life, I knew I'm not a good person. And I thought that was very strange. Secondly, I knew I would be this place forever. Like I supernaturally knew this place called hell is forever. And the anxiety, fear, condemnation, guilt that I felt on earth just got 100 times worse.
I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty scary. Like to the max scary, you know what I'm saying?
This is the reason why Rockstar Games is afraid of the world's best hacker, Ryan Montgomery. Just days ago, Ryan allegedly broke into Rockstar's top secret development cloud. What he found could completely destroy the launch of GTA 6. Buried inside the files was a project called Mirror City, a hidden AI system capable of recreating real locations and real people inside the game. According to Ryan, this system wasn't meant for players, it was designed for testing global surveillance data. He claims Rockstar partnered with a private defense company to secretly train an AI using voice and camera inputs from online sessions. When Ryan uncovered the evidence, he didn't ask for money. He sent Rockstar a single message: "You turned a game into a weapon, fix it or I will." Within hours, Rockstar's internal servers went dark, emails were deleted, and developers were ordered into silence. But Ryan began leaking fragments of encrypted footage online, footage that looks too real to be just gameplay. Now the entire gaming world is watching the countdown, waiting to see if Rockstar Rockstar will come clean or if Ryan will expose everything.
We go inside the mind of mentalist Oz Perlman, who gets into people's heads by telling them exactly what they are thinking.
Why would I tell you that on the air?
In June, Oz guessed Joe Rogan's ATM PIN code, leaving the podcaster befuddled.
How'd I do, Joe? Is that your ATM PIN code?
Yeah.
He looked like he wanted to punch you.
I think so.
Bad liars talk a lot. Good liars talk a little. Because the more you talk, the more you run the risk of undermining your own lie. Bad liars make a lot of statements. Good liars ask a lot of questions. Because if you ask questions, you're not really disclosing anything about yourself.
Now, this is very, very, very good information, but not for you to be manipulative to people, but for you to know when people are trying to manipulate you. You know, you got to know when you're dealing with the liar. You definitely got to know that in this lifetime.
So I talked to a CIA remote viewer, and she told me this. She told me that Trump only has 3 years in office. Now, when she said that, I'm thinking, does he die? She said no. She said, I can't see too much past that as far as what happens to him. It looks like he steps down. I'm not sure. But he only has 3 years. Now, we're 6 months in.
Okay. 3 years will put us where? 2028?
Just about.
Okay.
Yep. Just about. You know, if you're counting from when he came into office, or at least when he got elected, you can kind of give or take.
Okay.
But when he took office was January 20th. Okay. And we're 6 months in now. So,
right.
About 2028. So what happens at 2028? Right? So here's the thing.
I know you about to go with this.
Let's get it.
There's something called Agenda 2030 that nobody really talks about. And then they changed the name throughout history. They've been talking about this since the 80s and 90s. They always called it the plan for sustainability and different things that move the goalposts, right?
Shit is crazy.
But now, Agenda 2030, it's essentially the NWO plan, one world government, etc.
Steve Jobs became a billionaire not from Apple. The first time he became a billionaire was from Pixar. He dumped $50 million into Pixar before it made $1.
At this point in Pixar's history, they're still trying to sell computer hardware. And this is what's wild about Pixar, the making of these short animated films. It was just a sideline. Its main purpose being to show off the hardware and software for the company. And the first movie they make is Toy Story.
And you will hear a lot about it because I think it's going to be the most successful film of this year.
So this is where he makes a big bet. And he's like, we're going to take Pixar public a week after Toy Story. And all the publicity in the news is going to affect the IPO. It smashes the box office the first week. The next week, he has the IPO schedule. And so this is the moment of truth. The NASDAQ stock market had opened at 6:30 a.m. We were live. Pixar was a public company. Demand was off the chart. Congratulations, Steve. You're a billionaire. Steve had stepped into a nearby room and made a phone call to his friend Larry Ellison. All he said was, Larry, I made it.
Hey, what a journey, right? What a life story. That's pretty wild. I mean, the highs, the lows, and the in-between, man. Steve Jobs is doing a whole lot.
2015, you wrote in your blog, I quote, "The development of superhuman machine intelligence is the biggest threat for the existence of mankind. As a consequence, you called for more regulation." Is that still your view, or did you change your mind?
That's still my view. New startup backed by one of the biggest investors in Silicon Valley is now selling synthetic influencers as a service. It's a company called Doublespeed, and they use AI and phone farms to create thousands of fake social media accounts that look and act like real people. And they're selling this power to anyone who will pay for it. The company's co-founder boasted that just 15 of their AI accounts got 4.7 million views on TikTok in less than a month. This is the dead internet theory brought to life as a for-profit business. The people who helped build the internet are now selling the tools to destroy it.
Cancers are like pimples in our body. All right. And this is shocking to some people to hear, but the human body is made up of about 40 trillion cells. That's more cells in our body than stars in a clear sky. All right. And these cells have to divide to be able to reproduce themselves, copy and paste. Every cell has its own genetic material called DNA. It's our instructions for how our cells are work. So you get to copy and paste your DNA, all right? Now, copying and pasting is a tricky thing to do really well. So if I gave you a sentence to write, Stephen, and I said, copy it 10 times on a Word document, you'll do it perfectly. If I told you to copy it 1,000 times, you're going to make a few mistakes. Good thing that we have spell check to fix it, to catch it and fix it.
There's a high school Chinese teacher accurately predicting Trump winning the presidency. Not only that, but the Iran war happening and his explanation being for nuclear reasons. It's because they are building nukes. He predicted all of this.
As we also discussed, it's very likely that Trump will become president of the United States again.
That the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
New York City, San Francisco, and Los Angeles could all be destroyed. Okay? So to prevent this, we must strike first to stop Iran's nuclear program.
He predicted all of this, and now, because it has all happened, he's predicting that World War III is going to happen. But we all know this. War is inevitable.
Trump ordered the bombing of 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, and this will mark the beginning of World War III. So I have both good news and bad news. The bad news is we are now approaching the end of the world. The good news is this morning I will tell you how the world will end.
War is inevitable, but the question is, how are you going to respond to it?
Now, here's the part where you're just hoping that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. You're hoping that he's wrong on all accounts. But when somebody can actually predict something accurately a few different times, you're hoping that those few different times are the last times that they're right. You know, let's hope that that's the case, man.
If you put every cyber criminal in the world in one country today, that country would have the 3rd largest gross domestic product on the planet. It would be the 3rd largest economy in the world. 11 trillion in cyber criminal revenue last year. They are operating at scale, and they are frankly very, very successful. I think it's hard to say that the good guys are winning when you look at the outcomes for last year.
Scary ass animals you've never heard of, part 2. This is the saber-toothed blenny, and if it bites you, it'll inject heroin into you through its fangs. This fish is commonly kept in aquariums, but what most owners don't know is that it injects opioids into its predators in order to escape. Weirdly enough, just like those drugs, this venom works as a painkiller, and scientists are actually studying it to see if it can be useful to help humans. So next time you're getting mugged, don't try to hurt your attackers, just get them high like the blenny does.
To hear this, but just a PSA. Studies in Nature Human Behavior, which is a peer-reviewed journal published by Springer Nature, found that atheists and believers act just as ethically when no one is watching.
You know what? I believe that wholeheartedly. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. And at the core of every human being, we all have a good understanding of what's right and what's wrong, you know?
Did you know that in 2002, Jada Pinkett Smith created a new metal band called Wicked Wisdom? They released an album in 2004 and played multiple shows, and eventually they were invited to play at Ozfest in 2005. Festival goers were extremely upset about this because they didn't think that Wicked Wisdom was real metal. When they performed, the crowd booed at them, shouted racial slurs, threw glass, and did plenty of other bad things. And after they released an album in 2006, the band stopped putting out music and nothing has been heard from them since. It's likely that Jada was discouraged after all the hate she received at Ozfest, but no one knows for sure why they quit. But if we do know anything, it's that their music was not very well received when they were putting it out.
Quick question. Who do you think invented the internet, GPS, stealth bomber technologies, drones, and actually laid the foundation for mainstream AI? And just so you know, it's not a university, it's not a corporation. It's actually one of the most secretive and highly classified agencies in the world. And the crazy part is, majority of Americans or people in general do not know it exists and doesn't even know its name, which is terrifying. This agency is called DARPA. Essentially, it is the DoD's mad scientists. They are the innovative engine behind anything in the U.S. military. And their mission is to prevent and create strategic surprise. Let me say that again. Their purpose is to create strategic surprise. If you want to know how powerful they are, their influence is literally the architecture for our entire modern world. They shape everything. And it's only in the declassified documents, which are low level, so we don't even know the extent of what they do, and also leaked projects that let us know some of their power. Two of the most popular projects that we know DARPA has done so far is Total Information Awareness and Project Stargate. In Total Information Awareness, they were creating an all-seeing eye of an AI that could literally monitor the entire world. And DARPA actually funded Project Stargate, which is a program where the CIA was working with psychic spies, which means they've been trying to bridge consciousness with spies and technology. And they're actually working on projects like the Big Dog Robot, which is an autonomous four-legged robot that can actually work on the battlefield. They're also working on brain and computer interfaces and genetically engineered super soldiers. They're even trying to make an AI self-aware right now. Remember, they're also in charge of voice to skull. So when you're hearing messages directly in your head and you cannot tell if it's your thought or something else, they're in charge of that too. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of the things that we know that they're doing. So with all this power and how they are literally building our modern world, this makes us wonder how much of what we do every single day is actually our choice or something that we've kind of been pushed into because of DARPA.
I mean, the only way to remedy any of that is to know yourself, you know, because when you know who you are, you know what you're willing to accept and what you're not. And that's pretty much what that's going to come down to. But let me know what you think about DARPA.
If you ever see an elephant with this on its face, you're probably going to die. That's because this elephant is in must. Must is the time in a male elephant's life where his hormones go through the roof, causing a bull that is incredibly aggressive, extremely irritable, and horrendously horny. Basically, it turns them into 13,000-pound teenagers. And must causes testosterone levels to shoot up 60 times higher than normal. It also causes them to smell like 1,000 goats in one room. Right now, scientists don't know what exactly causes must. But that's only because when they're in it, the elephants are too violent and too unpredictable for scientists to study them without the risk of being put in a history book. That stuff running down their face isn't sweat, it's a tar-like thing called taporin which leaks from glands. Which is why an elephant that looks like this is one of the most homicidal things God allows to live. The reason is because female elephants are only in the mood once about every 5 years. Whenever there's a chance to get laid, all the male elephants in the area will start running fades with each other, sometimes to death. For about 2 weeks, they'll actively try to put each other out of commission just to have a shot. The bull elephants that lose and don't get a chance to mate will sometimes take out their anger by bullying baby elephants just to get their mother's attention. And in some parks with not enough females, bull elephants will go out of their way to CSI rhinos for no reason at all. Elephants usually stay in must for about 2 to 3 months, which means for 2 to 3 months they are the most dangerous and disrespectful living thing on the planet. There's being down bad, and there's death stroking a rhino that just wanted directions to the watering hole.
Hey, death stroking a rhino is wild, man. Hey, nature undefeated every time. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. Them iTrack books. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button. Join the iTrack fan, man. We are definitely going off over here, and I will definitely catch you on the next one. Hey, but don't forget, I got 2 more rabbit holes for you right here. Go ahead and check them out. Catch you on the flip side.